good evening, and welcome to Tea Time.
Everybody, welcome to Tea Time. That's right, it's Monday, it's 8 o'clock. It is April 24th, the last Monday in April already. Can you believe it? Boy, did it fly by. I'm going to talk about my weekend real quick and then get to my guest. Friday night, I went to Queens. I went to BB's Bar and Grill in Flushing to see my friend Anthony Avini's band play. And they were really good, really, really good. I was very impressed. And I didn't know, the man is in 3 different bands. And it was a lot of fun. And Prince Charlie was there. Prince Charlie sang that song back in the day, The roof is on fire. Remember that? So I'm hoping to have him on my show. Saturday, I didn't do much. I just chilled, relaxed. You know, I'm getting older. I need a day to do that. Sunday's laundry day because we all need clean underwear. And I end up going to Bayside to hang out with my girlfriend Doreen. I made my delicious artichoke pie. And she made these really cool zucchini boats with sausage and mozzarella. It was so good. And a little red wine on the side. I just want to announce that Rescuing Families is having a yard sale. Rescuing Families is a nonprofit organization, and they're having their sale on April 29th. There it is. There's the address, there's the time, there's the information. It's a nonprofit that helps people with disabilities renovate their homes, and Gina and Vinny do an amazing job for families in need. So I donated 6 bags of beautiful clothing, and it's going to be a great event. So if you're not doing anything that Saturday, come out and shop till you drop. Yeah, that's it. Thank you, Bobby. So I want to get to my guest. She's a producer, she's a writer, she's a comedian, and I'm excited. She's in Nueva York. Linda Marcus Smith is here. Hi.
Hi, Theresa. How are you?
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you.
I'm so excited she's here because Linda has a podcast also, and I did her show virtually, and I always wanted her on my show. And since she's here in New York, I figured I could grab you physically, which is great, and do the show in person.
Thank you.
So I want everyone to get to know you. You're originally from Portland.
Yes, I am.
Oregon.
Born and raised.
Yes, you were. And you went to David Douglas High School.
I did.
Yes, and while you were there, there's a very interesting story about a comedy club that you kind of knew the owner, Barry. Is his name Barry?
Barry Colin.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And you said to him one day, I'm going to be on this stage.
Yes.
In your dad's comedy club?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So Barry Colin was 1 year older than me, very handsome, rugged football player, and I lived miles away from him. But every day I would walk past his house and make it look innocent. Stalking.
Yeah, I've done that. I've done that.
So I had a crush on him. And then fast forward, his mother owned a comedy club in a hotel in downtown Portland. And so he was given it when she passed away. And I wasn't quite ready to start comedy.
Right.
And so then something happened where my daughter and I went our separate ways, and I started comedy. And I came to Portland and I asked to talk to Barry at the club, and I said, not yet, but one of these days I'm going to be doing comedy, and I'm going to get good enough to be on this stage.
Right.
Of course, he'd been married a couple times, had kids and everything. And
right.
I wasn't going in for my personal reasons anymore.
Sure.
But I really meant it, and yes.
So what year was the first time you actually got on stage doing comedy?
Well, I started comedy March 13, 2014, and it wasn't until probably 2019. I could be off a little on the date,
Yeah.
but I'm going to go
But around there.
Yeah, that I did his club.
All right, so you're talking almost 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice amount of time to do comedy. But what made you decide to do comedy? I mean, were you always funny in school? Did you make people laugh? Did you have a favorite comic that you liked to watch that you admired?
Growing up, we were 3 poor children, part Jewish, on my dad's side, so not Jewish.
Okay, because usually you're raised by the mother's religion, right?
Yes.
Yes, that I know.
So we were poor, and my parents went through the Holocaust and needed to drink all the time.
Okay.
And so we, us kids, were home alone fighting all the time. And so my lot in life was to make everybody laugh.
Right.
And so I was always kind of trying to be funny, to make my parents laugh and smile. And,
Right, to turn around a situation.
Yeah. And then in school, I was a prankster at best.
Yeah.
That started in 2nd grade when Marla and I used to, knock on doors and run. And
Yeah.
yeah, and stuff like that. But, I would pull pranks, and I would get people in class. I would come up with a quick one-liner and make the class laugh, and then I'd get in trouble. And that was the extent of it.
But did you have a favorite comedian that you liked to watch growing up?
So growing up, always at home while my parents were
Right.
out drinking.
Yeah.
And I loved the dirty comedy as a kid.
Okay.
Dirty words made me laugh so hard, And
So you must have loved George Carlin then.
yeah. So we had a Red Fox Red album at the house. I'm
wow.
pretty old. I'm 72. So we had this Red Fox Red album, a big one.
Right.
And when I turned that on, it just made me die laughing.
That's funny.
And and I would always sit, being Jewish, I would sit up and watch all the great Jewish comics that came before us.
Yeah.
And that always just was so touching to, see them having their way.
Right.
And I always dreamt about making people laugh like that.
Right. Well, I know I was very close to my grandmother, and I'm no spring chicken either, and we would watch, I would watch Lawrence Welk with her, and then we watched George Burns and Gracie Allen, and just the classics, right? Back in the day. God, there was, Jack Benny, and there was just so many to watch and admire and see how they would tick, and even growing up, I loved the Carol Burnett show and watching the skits that she did and the different things that she did. So yeah, it's nice that you follow someone's career and see how it goes, because then obviously you're hoping that that's the way your career goes.
Yes.
As well. And after high school, you actually went to Western Oregon University?
I did. It used to be called OCE.
Okay.
And it's a teacher's college, and it was in a dry town. And so my sister went there. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was a prankster.
Right.
I was a rebel.
Right. But you knew you wanted to make people laugh.
Yeah. So she goes to college at this place. And
Right.
I always followed in my sister. So I went to that college, and I was supposed to study teaching. I didn't care about that. I cared about pulling pranks. I pulled some pranks. I sure did.
You never got to spend it or in trouble, did you?
No.
All right, no, that's good.
No, just I was a prankster.
Yeah.
There was this one guy that was in the dorm. It was a co-ed dorm in the summer. And
Right.
He was always always better than everybody else.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I had to pull prank on him to level him. This was my lot.
Well, I didn't pull pranks. I actually got pranked. When I was I developed bosoms very early. I was 11 years old, and I went to Camp Integrity, and someone stole my bra and put it on the flagpole. Yeah, it wasn't nice. And then someone took one of our flashlights. It was me, my sister, my 2 cousins, and we all have the same last name. So when they found the flashlight, it said my maiden name's Canastraci. So we had to all go back to our bunks to find out whose flashlight it was. They were pulling pranks on me. I never pulled a prank on, not that I know of or I can remember, I don't know. You have to be pretty clever.
Yeah.
To pull pranks.
Yeah, I
and
am.
you know.
I
yeah.
am.
See?
But I
Yeah.
only do it if people are like annoying or think they're better. Or, I don't do it to just, like you've got big breasts and I don't. That's not motivating me.
Right.
Right. Like, no, I mean, like, I just don't like uppity people.
I get it. I totally get it. You want to like put them in their place.
Yeah.
Well, you are also an Army veteran.
Yes.
So thank you for your service.
Thank you, Theresa.
And you did that for a while. How many years were you there?
I joined for 3 years.
Right. Yeah. And you actually put on and help put on comedy shows for veterans.
I do. I love entertaining the military. I want to be real in this answer. I could be silly right now and do my shtick, but
Right.
seriously,
Yeah.
they say 22 a day are offing themselves.
Oh my gosh.
So if they're saying that, there's
Yeah.
probably 2,200 a day.
Yeah.
And I've been in the military and I've
Yes.
seen the devastation and I've seen the pressure that gets put on them
Mm-hmm.
and I've seen the need to laugh and be entertained and how much it means.
Absolutely, because it takes them away from, listen, a lot of people have been through, my dad served in the Navy.
Thank you.
And my uncle, World War II, and, family members that served. My cousin is in the Marines now. And,
Wow.
depending on what they see or what they go through, it can be very devastating on the psyche.
Yeah.
And, I think sometimes it's more mental than physical, unless obviously they get hurt physically. But mentally, I don't think people realize the depth of it. And I think COVID didn't help anyone with any kind of PTSD or, issues because, I've talked about this in the past, we've all been in a dark hole in our life at one time or another. Yes. And it's a matter of how you pull yourself out of it. And it's important that people know that there are organizations there for them. And I'm sure the joy that you get from putting smiles on their faces is amazing. Now, when you do the shows, obviously you hire comics as well.
I do. I hire them and pay them out of my pocket. And I've had donors like Helene Witt here.
Right.
She's donated
Right.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
And other people are coming along now doing it monthly,
Right.
which I'm so grateful because, it gets kind of draining dipping in your own pocket all the time.
Of course. I mean, it's nice to go to maybe some other connected organizations and say, hey, listen, this is what I'm doing. Would you like to help out or something like that? Because it's not easy. We're all trying to do something and, it's hard. It's just hard.
Yeah. I love, I'm not shy talking to military veterans wherever. And I've gone and done 1,000 comedians in a parking lot. It's 9 in the morning in the rain.
Right.
And I've gone to a bedside where a man died just after I got to tell him my comedy set.
Yeah.
It didn't kill him, but they just appreciate.
Sure.
There was a guy I went to get some medicine in the middle of the night with a cold at the VA hospital, and a guy comes wheeling into the cafeteria, and I look at his knee, and it's got a hole in the knee. And I said, what the heck did they do to you? Because they're always doing something to somebody
Right,
there,
right.
and we all talk. It's
Yeah.
Even after the military, we're a camaraderie
Yeah.
for life.
Yeah.
And he said, they're doing a knee surgery on me, and they ordered the kneecap, and it hasn't come in. I've been here 6 months waiting for the kneecap.
Wow.
So, he's upset. And I said, well, would you like me to tell you some jokes? It's like 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, and I'm telling him the joke. Tears are coming down his face.
Because you've stopped people in the street. Like, you don't have a problem stopping people in the street and say, hey, you want to hear a joke? I mean, right? You have this bus stop thing they say all the time.
Yeah.
That there was a woman there and you're like, you want to hear a joke? Or, just to make their day,
It's true.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it's cool and it's ballsy, and I think that's what you have to have a pair in this business, as you know. Speaking about a pair, I have to have a pair right now to go take my first break. So we'll be right back with Linda Marcus Smith. Don't go away. Yeah, we'll be back after this.
Yay.
Hi there, Theresa. It's John York from General Hospital. I am just checking in because apparently you have a great talk show called Tea Time on Strong Island TV. I want you to have continued great success and have a lot of fun. It sounds like you're having a lot of fun, and that's pretty much the key to everything, isn't it? So continued success. I'm proud of you. Have a great day, Theresa. Bye.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Tea Time. I'm so glad you're joining me. Tea Time can be seen every Saturday at 11 a.m. on Channel 20 for people who live on Long Island and get Optimum. I'm also on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch TV, everywhere podcasts can be heard. And of course, we're live on Facebook and YouTube every Monday night at 8 o'clock. And I have a producer, writer, and comedian, Linda Marcus Smith, is with me. She is she's originally from Oregon, but now she's in Vegas, and I'm so happy that she's here visiting in New York, and I'm able to have her on the show live.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, this is my pleasure, really. Listen, I did your show, like I said, a while ago, and I've been wanting to do this, and I says, what a better way to do it while you're here. You know, and before the break, we were talking about how, you know, you would really just walk up to anyone and ask them if they want to hear a joke. And you were saying how you've even performed at airports and, you know, people waiting for trains at Amtrak, and just because it gives you joy to make people laugh.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter where it is.
I struggle with depression from losing a relationship with my daughter. And so I when I get depressed, I purposely try to make like 100 people laugh a day.
Right.
And
it's our medicine.
Yeah, it is.
It is. And speaking about your daughter, and I'm sorry to hear that you are estranged, but let's hope that doesn't stay like that forever. Yes. But she was actually a model, and you actually managed her career for about 5 years?
I did. I was like a hovering helicopter mother that couldn't let her go.
Yeah, well, you know, as moms, we want to protect our kids. I only have one daughter, so yeah, I'm the same way. You know, I'm ready to pounce on somebody when someone hurts my baby, so I totally get it. But you were actually in banking.
I was.
For 24 years, long time.
Yes. I went to college, and then I went and got a job at the Portland airport, and I met so many celebrities. And I was keeping track of all the pages of them. And so then after that, this lady came in from the bank at the airport, and she said, "You're so good with customer service, you should go to U.S. Bank downtown and apply for a bank job." And I did, and I got hired, and she died.
What?
Yeah. So I figured, well,
oh my God. Wait, did you take her? I was going to say, did you take her position when you were hired? Or?
Oh, hell no. They had me just be a teller, but I couldn't leave. I mean, I was bonded to...
But you started out as a teller, but I mean, after 24 years, I'm sure you worked your way up. I mean, you were there a long time.
Yeah, I finally worked my way at Washington. I did many banks because my husband was military.
Right.
Married at the time. And so I'd start over as a teller, and then we'd get transferred to another city, and I'm at...
Wait, you said married at the time, so right now you're single?
I'm single.
She's single,
yes.
Then.
Hi. Hey, what's up? I've been single since 1980.
Wow. Yeah, dating is not an easy thing, especially in today's time. I mean, everyone's on these social media platforms.
Yeah.
Because it's like, where do you go to meet a person in person? You know what I'm saying? Back in my day, you went to a disco, but they don't have those anymore. But, you know, I was, a friend of mine, Barbara, is like 85 years old, and I was telling her, listen, there's these 3 dating sites I found for you, okay, but they're not great, okay? The first one's called Our Time Is Over. The second one's called One Foot in the Grave. It's not, but the third one's a little hopeful for her. It's called Men Whose Penises Still Work. So she got excited about that one, you know, because she's like, I want to date. And I said, God bless you. I said, because I'm married to, I say, joke around when people are like, you married? I'm like, today I am. Tomorrow you don't know. But I understand how people, you know, it's not easy. And you've worked with comics who, and Linda, you are a very attractive woman. I'm sure you get hit on all the time.
Oh, all the time. I mean, I've interviewed 1,030 men mostly.
Wait a second. Yes, let's talk about your podcast. It's called Comics Spot,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
And you have interviewed over 1,000 comics. You focus on comics in
Yes.
the industry.
Yes.
And you've interviewed that many people because you've interviewed maybe up to 15 or 20 comics a day.
Mm-hmm.
What was the most you've ever done in a day?
I think it was 14, and I think maybe one day right before the nervous breakdown.
Wow. Oh, you had one of those too? Okay. And during COVID, I know a lot of people were writing. A lot of people were doing virtual shows. There were a lot of people that weren't doing virtual shows because they weren't into it.
Yes.
What were you doing?
I was just like my friend, my bestie, Helene Witt. We were on.
I'm going to have on the show in the future.
Yay! I did about 1/10 of what she did.
Really?
But as elderly comedians,
Yes.
we don't stop. So
Right.
Right. She can run circles around me, but I did a lot of virtual shows, and it helped me with I don't come from an acting background, and up on a stage I can get lost in everything going on,
Yeah.
and it helped me with my presence and my eye contact and my delivery.
Because the more you do it, the better you get at it.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. Now, speaking about a world's record, because up to 15, 20 comics, you also were in the Guinness Book of World's Record. Hello.
Yes.
And it was for the largest caroling group in Times Square. Tell me about that. That sounds like so much fun.
Okay, so let's back up to 1996 when I got hit by a drunk driver and got brain injury.
Oh my gosh.
And my daughter's
I am
taking-
so sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
And I'm glad
It
you're
was free.
here.
It
And I'm
was
glad you're
free.
here. Oh my God. Linda.
It took them 3 years to just diagnose it. All I had to do was just have the brain injury.
Wow.
So I'm trying to repair my brain.
Right.
My daughter's taking care of me. I'm
Right.
driving her nuts.
Yeah.
And my brain's not repairing. And so I get out these trivia cards.
Yes.
And I read the question and I turn it over. Uh-oh, what's the question?
Right.
And nothing
Right.
was going.
Connecting.
Yeah.
I know that feeling.
Okay.
Yes.
Because have you sustained?
I had a brain tumor.
Oh, yeah.
8 years ago. So I'm not as sharp as I used to be.
Yeah.
There's still some residual from it.
Exactly.
Every now and then I'll get a brain fart and I'll lose my train of thought, or, I can't think of a word, or I'm thinking about spelling a word and I'm like, how do I spell that again? And I'm like, oh, it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not fun. And you had obviously you had to do some kind of PT and OT and a lot of T's because I did too.
So
Where
I
was
get
your
really
injury?
good at
Where was your injury?
upper
On the-
right. So
mine too was right
yeah.
here. Yeah.
So I can't organize for
right,
nothing.
right.
So I get pissed, and so I'm turning the cards fast.
Yeah.
And when you do it fast, all of a sudden I started remembering things.
Really?
Yeah. And so then the emotion while trying to learn made it happen.
Okay.
So then I get invited to come to New York in 2005 and be on I tried out and got accepted to be on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yes, how did you do on that? I have that written down. I didn't bring that up yet. So how did you do on that show?
I tried out 3 days in a row. And so the first day, no. So all of us went to Barnes & Noble and looked up the questions, and then we got together. We went to different Barnes & Nobles, came back with our answers. Tried out the second day, no. Third day, second night, we all went and studied some more. Third day, I beat out a rocket scientist and got into the contestant pool.
Oh my gosh.
But then, they interview you, and I'm not from here, and probably didn't do all that great and impress
Really?
them. But at least I proved that.
I just submitted for password.
Yes.
So let's see if I get picked. I don't know. I filled out this questionnaire. They wanted to know your life story. They wanted a video. They wanted pictures. I'm like, oh, Madonna me. So we'll see what happens. I want to give some quick shout outs. Greg DiFilippo's watching from Florida.
Hi, Greg.
Hello, Bruno, and everyone else watching. I'm sure Ann and Michael Norton, everyone's tuning in. Thank you so much. Please like the show. Please share it. Linda Marcus Smith is with me. I'm excited because, she's living in Vegas now. And you've been up here now, is it a total of 3 weeks or 4 weeks?
I'm here 5 weeks.
5 weeks. Okay.
April 4th to
So
May
is
8th.
Helene your agent and she's getting you the bookings to perform while you're in New York?
Unofficially, she's been getting a lot of them for me.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
She doesn't like to take credit, but she has.
No, that's fantastic that you have a cheerleader in your corner and helps you out. Because we were talking before the show and I was saying how I did 2 shows at Governor's and I headlined and both shows were sold out. And someone came up to me and said, "Oh my God, I'm so glad you're back doing comedy." I'm like, I never left. I said, but people don't ask me to do shows. And I don't know if it's because they see me doing more acting now than comedy, but if someone asks me to do a show, I'll do it. It's like, anything to, like you, entertain. I love to entertain, make people laugh, put a smile on their face, and I'm a ham. So,
Yes.
I blame my mother because she's the one who put me on stage at 4 years old tap dancing. So ever since then, I never wanted to leave.
That's so great.
Yeah.
You'd think with the acting that would make you more demand.
I know, but listen. Let's talk realistic here. It's a crazy industry.
Yep.
There's a lot of nepotism. It's a lot of who you know in any industry, especially ours. This is true, and it's hard, and it's especially hard for women, and it always has. I started in 1991, 92. I've been doing this a long time, and I did it throughout the early 90s, and then I stopped. I had my daughter in 97, and then I went back to comedy 8 years ago after my brain tumor with the help of Bob Nelson. Who I totally love and adore because he was doing improv and he was looking for comics to do improv with for 6 weeks. And I said, I could do 4 weeks because I'm going to be in Florida for 2. And he said, come on down. And surprisingly enough, I was like almost the only female comic that was there. So I got to do a lot of stage time with him and to learn from the best who I looked up to and adored. He was always at Dangerfields. He always worked with Rodney. I always watched his HBO specials. I mean, it was a dream come true for me. And he's a prop comic. And there was this feminine douche commercial that I did with props and would get big laughs. And everyone's like, it's old school, you shouldn't do it. And I'm like, yeah, but people laugh. People laugh when I do it. Now I don't do it anymore. But I do end with a New York lottery joke that people seem to like. So,
Do we get to hear the lottery joke?
I'll have to send you a video. It's too long to do. This is all about you tonight, not me. I'll send you my actually did Dangerfields a week before the COVID, and that was the only time I did Dangerfield, so at least I got to do it.
Yes.
And even Caroline's. Back in the day, I did Caroline's and Stand Up New York and Comic Strip, and I did all of them. So, and then there were a lot more comedy clubs in Queens, which are no longer, and there were a ton of comedy clubs on Long Island, which are no longer either. So, throughout the years, as you know, things change.
Yeah.
What have you found through the years that has changed for you doing comedy?
I think that the political correct environment
The woke thing?
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
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 That's bizarre. And
Yeah.
the way...
It's like being censored, having to be censored. It's hard. It's hard, because before my set, I usually talk off stage into the microphone and I'll say something like, the jokes you're about to hear from Theresa Farrell are jokes. They're supposed to be funny. They're supposed to make you laugh. Please don't take any of them personally. Theresa does not talk about religion or beep. I say something else instead of politics. And please do not approach the stage. Because, these days you don't know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? And that's the whole thing is it's like, sometimes I feel like, we are being muzzled. Do you feel like sometimes you have to think twice before you say a joke?
All the time. Everybody has their own opinion. What clean is, how clean can you be, and
Yes.
you know.
Yeah, because you have a clean set.
I have a clean set.
You have a clean set, and then you have a risque set.
Yeah.
You know, like me, I could do both.
Yeah.
You know, because they say a really good comic can perform in a church or a library. You know, and if you could do that, you could perform anywhere.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Did a library today, East Meadow.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's like right around the corner from my house.
Aw,
I wish you told me. I would have went. That's why I said to you, let me know where you are. And I want people to know where you're going to be. So, you are Linda Marcus Smith on Facebook.
Yes.
And on Instagram, it is comedian Linda Marcus Smith.
Yes.
And you're also on YouTube, and Spotify is the Comics Spot. So check that out. And you can go to her Facebook page and see upcoming shows of where she's going to be, because you have quite a bit of shows that you're going to be doing before you leave.
I've got some good ones. I'm so excited. I think the two that are coming up that I'm most excited about, I hate to say it, but I'm going to be real. I'm so excited to get to host at Comic Strip Live.
Nice.
Because,
That's
Gladys
great.
Simon is
yes,
the one that got me on the
Gladys
right.
is great.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then also Comedy in Harlem.
Oh,
means
nice.
so much to me. 'Cause
Nice.
My parents came through the Holocaust.
Right.
And they landed in Harlem.
Really?
Jewish Harlem.
Wow.
For a year.
Right.
Before they had a sponsor take them to Portland.
It was funny because back in the day when I did Comic Strip, I was just about to go up and Chris Rock walked in.
Wow.
And I got bumped. And if you're going to get bumped, I don't mind being bumped by Chris Rock, but I was just starting out back then. And after his set, he did this whole thing on Star 69 when Star 69 first came out. And I walked up to him, because I'm not a shy person. Like you, I'll walk up to anyone and start talking to them. And I just said to him, I'm starting in the industry. Is there, any kind of advice you can give me? And he was so nice, like really, 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 really sweet.
Wow.
So that's great. So people could go to your Facebook page, Linda Marcus Smith, and see when those are. And this Saturday night, you're performing? Are you performing this Saturday? Are you performing this Saturday?
This Saturday. Let me look at my calendar.
I don't know. I thought you were. I could be wrong. Maybe it's next week.
And where are you asking? Which
I don't know.
venue?
I thought you were going to be in the Giggle Room.
I'm at the Giggle Room
In
May 6th.
May 6th. Okay,
Yes.
May 6th.
7:30 show.
Yes. Okay. That's exciting.
Thank you.
That's great. No,
can't
it's
wait.
good. So Helene's like your agent.
She doesn't like act as an agent.
Right. No,
she
but
has
that's great.
So many connections.
No, listen, you're in Vegas and you're in New York and you're doing more shows while you're here in 5 weeks than I have in 8 years. So that's great. No, it's really, really good.
Thank you.
That you're out there and you're doing it.
Thank you so much.
What keeps you going? What keeps you going and not getting discouraged? Because there are moments that we have that, like, really?
I know. There's so many times, like I had a comedy club in Portland, Oregon. It sounds like helium. Well, it was. They told me that no matter how funny I ever got, they'd never book me. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Because I have nothing in common with the young people and I'm too old.
Wow.
And it happens, ageism, or they assume we don't have anything for the younger people don't want to listen. I'm proving them wrong.
No, you are proving them wrong, absolutely. Because
And
I've seen your comedy, I've seen what you do, and I've heard them laugh. So,
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, listen, we're going to take my second break right now. Don't go away. We'll be back with Linda.
Wonder Woman was everything to little girls, especially that look like me. She stands for being a voice for people that need a voice. My organization renovates homes for people with disabilities. And when I come home, a self-care routine makes me feel my best. I'm very proud of the difference that we're making, and to see that impact in my community inspires me to work even harder for everyone around me.
How you doing? It's Sal the Voice Valentinetti. Why are you watching me? You should be watching Theresa Canastraci Tea Time with Theresa Canastraci Farrell. And make sure you follow Theresa on Facebook. Tea Time with Theresa Canastraci Farrell. We'll see you there.
I love the way you say my name. I love.
Hey, we're back. Thank you for joining me. Let's give shout outs to Ann. Hi, Ann. How are you? Thank you for watching, honey. Everyone watching, I appreciate you supporting Tea Time and my show. I have Linda Marcus Smith with me. She's a producer, she's a writer, she's a comedian. She's produced shows for veterans. She's a veteran. And obviously you write because you write your own material. And what do you draw from when you write?
I draw from my pain, and I go through everything that's ever bothered me. I'm writing a book.
Oh, that's great! What's it called?
I'm
Do you
a
have a name?
sandbagger. The name of the book is...
Do you have one yet? You're
I
not
do,
sure.
I do.
You don't want to say? You don't
It's
have to
called
say.
The Fourth Quarter.
Oh.
But it's not spelt F-O-U. It's F-O-R-T-H, like going forward to the end, to the full end of the game.
Oh, I like that.
And it's for the military to heal from anything. Because the military, well, people, when we go through things, we back away and we talk about it in a depressing way.
Right,
People,
right.
we get alienated, then we
Yes.
get worse.
Yes.
Especially the military. So every trauma I've been through in my life is a chapter, how I got through it,
Right.
how you can get through it,
Right.
and a joke about it.
Yes.
So it's going to be chapters.
That's great.
So 40-some chapters right now, and I got to fill in the blanks.
Okay. And
Yeah.
I just did my first, I don't want to say lecture. That's not the right word.
TED Talk.
I had on, yes, a kind of tech talk. I had on Perry Williams, who played for the New York Giants for 11 years, and he's a two-time Super Bowl champion. And now he teaches at LIU Post. And after we went out, and I had told him what I have been through medically, and he said, you should come. To a couple of days later, he called me. He's like, would you like to talk to my class? You talk like an hour, and then you do Q&A. And I'm thinking, wow, I mean, I've talked to people one-on-one about what I've been through, but I've never, like, talked to a whole class. And I have to tell you, it was the most cathartic thing I think I've ever done. And it was, I even got a little verklempt and emotional doing it because it takes you back to a time in your life that is hard
Yes.
and traumatic. And I didn't think that was going to happen to me, but I'm a very authentic, real person, so I just let it flow. And the first class went great, and then he goes, we're going to do a second class at 11 o'clock. And I was like, what? Like, I have to do it again? I didn't know I had to do it twice. So he goes, yes. And I have to tell you, the most fulfilling thing that came out of this was that a 19-year-old girl came up to me, and she said to me, thank you so much for telling your story. I, too, am a brain tumor survivor. And I was just floored, because she was so young, and I was like, and she was explaining how they had to cut around her left ear and remove her ear in order to get to the tumors, and the tumors kept coming back. So she had to have 8 surgeries. She lost her hearing in her left ear. And I said to her, you are a warrior. You're a warrior. So she hugged me and she's like, can I follow you on social media? I'm not going to stalk you. And I'm like, yeah. You say, of course you can follow me. Her name was Logan. So shout out to Logan. And what a sweet soul for her to take the time out to come up to me and say something to me. So for me, it was very emotional and rewarding. So I'm sure, it's the same thing for you when you tell your story.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Now, did you ever think of maybe, because someone said to me, I need to turn it into a one-woman show. Did you ever think of doing that?
Yes, I think that's down the road. Maybe motivational speaking would
Right,
be down
right.
both our...
Yes. We should do it together.
Okay.
We can talk about our heads, our groins, whatever you want to talk about, we can talk about. We've got a lot of things in common. But you want to talk about women. So
Yes.
let's talk about women.
I'm very driven about what I'm passionate about, like military and vets healing all the way through the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And also the young and the old. They need to quit bashing each other.
Yes.
So I do a set about that to bring us together. And I also feel that women in comedy are so bitchy with women in comedy.
They are. It's horrible. It's horrible because I love to see people succeed. It makes me happy, and I think we should all be each other's cheerleaders.
Yes.
Because I think when one of us do well, we all do well. And I think the other thing is that when it comes to networking, if we all put each other on each other's shows, we'll all be working.
Thank you.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're all helping each other out. And I think that's what it should be about. Do you agree?
I agree. I want to see women succeed. I don't want to
Yes.
see flyer after flyer with no women on it.
No, it makes me crazy because I'll contact the person or I'll put in the Facebook message. I'm like, and no vaginas on this show? Where are they? Where are they? Hello? We're out there. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
'Cause it's like we're freaking funny.
I know.
We
I
are.
get so tired of hearing men say that women aren't funny.
Well, I'm going to give a shout out to my girl Kristen Tinsley because Kristen was producing a lot of shows and she did a show called Vagisilly.
Nice.
And it was all women and you know, it's empowering. And yes, there are a lot of shows with just men and it's nice to sprinkle a little femininity on one of them.
Yeah. Shout out to any women that are doing things for women and men that are seeing that they give women a fair shot.
Right, absolutely.
And treat them right.
Yes, absolutely. That's another thing. You know, it's equal pay. Equal pay too. You know, we want to get paid. A lot of people take advantage of comics, as you
Yes.
know. And I don't work for free. And I'll tell the person, the producer or the owner, whoever, do you like to get paid when you work? And they say yes. And I go, so do I.
Exactly.
You know, I'm worth my time and my talent. And, you know, some gigs are better than others. You know, some of them you just get gas money. And some of them, you know, you could do a little more shopping. You know what I mean?
Yes.
They're all different. But yes, we want to feel included and worthy.
Yes. Absolutely. And, you know, if you get on a show, like I got on a show, which will go nameless, and the club owner wasn't involved in the show, and I saw him taking out tables while I was wrapping up my hosting, and I was like, what is going on? He's taking these tables outside, and I had mentioned I wanted to get a comedy club shirt, and he made me wait till later. So all of the men on the show knew what to do, and they all went out to greet and sell merchandise.
Right.
And I went to go outside, and he goes, now you can go buy your shirt.
Really?
And I like, oh, I get it.
Wow.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that discrepancy.
I'm not going to make a big deal out of it, but mental note.
Yeah, you remember. You do. You remember. Wow. It's amazing. Really amazing. You know what's amazing? I'm going to take my last break. So don't go away. More with Linda Marcus Smith when we come back. Up, 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 up. There you go, Bobby.
You're amazing.
I got him while he jumped up. We'll be back. Don't go away. We recently said to, what?
Doc, who's the best comedian you know?
Theresa Farrow.
And who's the best actress you know?
Teresa Farrow.
And who's the best cast member in Bad Boys?
Teresa Farrow.
Who's got the best radio?
Teresa Farrow.
Doc, who's your favorite guinea?
Teresa Farrow.
Who are you loving right now?
Teresa Farrow.
All right, Doc, I love you too, baby.
Love you as always.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Yeah, sorry about that last commercial break. I think Bobby was drinking in the back. Or he was doing something back there. Thank you, Doc Gooden, my friend. I love you. I hope to have him back on the show. Sal the Voice Valentinetti, John York from General Hospital. I just want to thank everyone for supporting Tea Time and tuning in every Monday night at 8 o'clock. Like I said, we're on, if you don't catch us live on a Monday night at 8 o'clock on Facebook and YouTube, we are on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, TV, Twitch TV, everywhere podcasts can be heard and seen every Saturday at 11 a.m. on Channel 20 for people on Long Island who get Optimum. So we're going to be on TV Saturday morning.
That's so fabulous.
Isn't that exciting?
Congrats.
I know, it's great. And I just want to let you know, and everyone else know, that this beautiful Paradise Studios here in Massapequa on Thursday nights, they do a live band every Thursday night, and on Friday nights, they do an open mic on Friday nights. So if you come here at 8 o'clock, they do a trivia from 8 to 8:30, which is a lot of fun. And then from 8:30 to 9:30, they do an open mic. And we've had an author come and read a chapter from his book. People get up and do comedy. We've had people do monologues. So it really is like the meeting of the entertainment minds. And then at 9:30, we do karaoke and we sing.
Wow. What
Yeah,
a great
so
night.
it's a lot of fun. So if anyone's not doing anything on a Friday night, this is the place to come down and have a good time and meet people and network. And that's what it's all about also, networking. So I know that you have your Vegas comedy friends, and shout out to Jen K, my girl, who I've known for many, many, many years. And she moved to Vegas, and now you've connected with her, which is
Yes.
fabulous.
I love her.
Isn't she great?
She's funny too.
I know. And then you have your New York friends.
I do.
Yeah.
And
And
then
a lot of mutual friends. You and I have a lot of mutual friends. A lot
Yeah.
of mutual friends.
And interviewing, when you interview people, you bond.
Yes.
And they get to know, trust
Yes,
you.
yes.
And they've been inviting me to come on their shows around.
yeah, which is great. And like you said, you're here till May 8th. And are you going to miss New York?
Yes. But I got invited on 2 big shows. I call them big shows, big to my heart.
The Harlem one, right?
That is for this trip, but I
Right.
got invited to come back mid-November, November 15th to 2 big shows.
Okay.
So it looks like I'm going to be on at Littlefields in Brooklyn.
Okay.
And then also a Jack Hoffman production show. I got invited for veterans.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm super
And I
stoked.
have to connect you with John LaRocchia. Because
Please.
John, I don't know what you're doing this Wednesday night. Maybe you can crash his show, or I'll connect you with him. He does his show here on Wednesday nights. He does shows for veterans,
I know.
so I think you definitely need to connect with him.
I know. I've been trying to make that happen
Yeah.
by text. People,
I'll make it happen, girl.
Thank you.
I'll make it happen.
I just don't come across on paper like I do in person.
No, I know. It's like there's nothing better than doing a show in
Thank
person.
you.
That's why I'm so glad, like I said, you're here and we were able to do this because, like I said, Linda had me on her show. So wait a second, you said you interviewed over 1,000 men. How many women did you interview? I mean, I know I wasn't the only one.
No, but I mean, I've interviewed probably 150 women out of 1,030.
Right. Well, we know we're outnumbered to begin with in this industry.
That's right.
So I get it.
I totally, if they want to be on the show, unless they act like a total diva. I mean, I just,
No, be nice, be humble.
Yeah.
Really, leave the ego at the door. Check it at the door.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not going to recreate the wheel because you think you're special. Not doing it.
No, I totally get it. So, how many shows do you think you do? Well, I know you're doing a lot while you're here. You
Yeah.
really are. It's like a marathon for you.
Yeah, this
Seriously.
is
I mean,
something.
do you take vitamins or something? Like, I don't know how I could keep up with you. Like, what do you take?
I'm just really motivated to make people laugh.
Right.
And
right.
like since I got here,
Yeah.
I mean, I want to take advantage of this.
Sure.
You know?
I get it. I mean, let me tell you something. I haven't been to Vegas since 1992.
Well, come.
Okay. And I haven't been in California. I think I was there in 90 something. I don't know. But I haven't. But when I did comedy in the early 90s, I did do California, Florida. I did travel a little bit with it, but not as much as I wanted to. And then, like I said, I stopped when I had, my daughter. And then, went back to it 8 years ago. And it was weird getting back into it. Have you ever taken a break? And
I have. I'm really sensitive. I'm a Pisces. I'm sensitive.
Okay.
Like cry at the drop of a hat. I don't know how I thought I was going to.
Cry at Hallmark commercials. I'm a Virgo, and I'm so emotional. I mean, yeah, I'm an emotional person.
And I used to Helene knows, I used to talk and tell her everything that hurt me. They don't like old people, and they don't like me because I'm straight in Portland. I complained about everything. thank God she listened and I got over all
Right,
that. But,
right.
But yeah, like anytime my feelings got hurt, I'd step away from comedy, and
Yeah,
it
I get
slows.
it. I totally get it.
But now I'm in it, and
Because
I don't care.
sometimes, look, like any industry, there's drama. And sometimes it's nice to step away from the drama and the toxicity. So I totally get it, but then you miss it.
Yeah.
When you do perform, what's the longest set you can do? How long can you go?
I've got 45 minutes of material.
Good for you, girl.
Yeah, it just so
Nice.
happened that
Oh, that's
recently.
fantastic.
And I haven't tested it. I mean, who's going to, let me do 45 minutes of material? But
Well, you need to headline somewhere.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
How are you going to know unless you do it, right? So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to produce your own show and headline.
Thank you.
That's it.
So I'm really comfortable with 20 to 30.
Right.
And the
yeah,
45.
that's my sweet spot. Yeah.
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 Yeah. But I've got 45. I don't know if it sounds like a TED Talk. I don't know what it sounds like. But I sent it to one comic I really, Damian Fitz.
Okay.
I sent it to him, and he said he was laughing through the whole thing.
That's great.
So that felt good because
Yeah.
he's been in the
What's
biz.
nice is that, look, most comics make fun of themselves and write jokes that are relatable. So it's nice because I've watched, I haven't watched you live, but I watched what you do. And it's nice when you are on stage and you can laugh along with the audience. You know what I'm saying? It's the energy that we feed upon.
Yes. I'm working on being with the audience instead of
Like an out-of-body experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I get
losing
it.
yourself to where,
Right,
you're
right,
so much
right.
with them, nothing else is
yeah.
going on but that.
Yeah, I had fun with the audience. I did it was a gay show, lesbian show. The audience was mostly lesbian, and it was a fundraiser. And I admitted for the first time in public that my first kiss was a girl, and I said I was 8. And of course they all laughed. And I'm like, does that count? And they're like, yes, it counts. And I was like, okay, because I never had that college experience thing, like I never did that.
Yeah.
But it was they accepted me for being who I am, and they laughed when they were supposed to laugh. So it was, humbling, and it made me feel good. And I'm sure it does too with you. Now, what do you do and how do you handle hecklers? Have you ever had one?
I got on a show, my first show I got on way before I should have.
Oh.
Because I was brand new in comedy, a month in,
Right.
and I got all of the Marines and their wives after a Marine ball to come to Ace's Comedy Club in Southern California.
Okay.
So they gave me a spot,
Uh-huh.
and I did no leg.
Throw ya!
Yeah, and this lady started heckling me, and she said,
Oh.
"When's the comedy gonna start?" Because I was hemming and hawing, I wasn't getting to it.
Yeah.
And she caught on, and I just looked at the back of the room, and I didn't know what the hell to do, but I saw 2 exit signs, so I acted like a stewardess, and I said, "In the back of the room, you'll see 2 exit signs. Pick one." And then I called Jerry Corley because he was coaching me, and I said, "What should I have said?" Because you're like, "Well, I don't know if that was right." And he goes, "Well, when it happened, what were you thinking?"
Right.
I said, "I was thinking," I knew she had been drinking a
Right,
little too much.
right,
I said,
right.
I expected drunk heckler. I just didn't expect drunk bitch heckler.
Right.
He said that would have been funnier.
Right. Yeah.
What you're thinking, let
Yeah.
it come out.
Back in the day, again, in the early 90s when I started, there was just a go-to for hecklers, where you would say, listen, I don't come to McDonald's to bother you while you're working.
I know.
So you shouldn't bother me. You know what I mean? Like that was just like a go-to back in the day. I don't know if you could get away with it today. It was probably have to be something else. But we've all kind of experienced it. But again, we have like a minute left. See how fast this went?
It went great.
So listen, I want everyone to follow Linda Marcus Smith. She's on Facebook under Linda Marcus Smith. She's on YouTube comedy, Linda Marcus Smith. Spotify, watch her show called The Comics Spot. And when is that on? Because you kind of do it sporadically.
I
So
do.
are there set dates and times?
No.
Or? Okay.
Like I'm out of the box.
Right.
I do it when I make it, like if you tell me you want to do an interview at 2
Right,
o'clock
you set it up.
a.m.
Right, you set it up.
That's,
Right.
yeah. And so I know that's bad for algorithms and all that. But, maybe I'll get to that in the next 72 years.
Well, listen, I want to thank you for coming on. I thank Helene for driving you. Very sweet. I'm going to
Yes.
have her on in the future. We're going to set up a date. And again, everyone, I want to thank you for watching my show, supporting Tea Time. And, hopefully I will catch you on the 8th, God willing.
May 6th at the
6th,
Giggle
6th.
Room.
Sorry, you're leaving on the 8th.
Yeah.
Right, the 6th. Sorry. 6th. You're leaving on the 8th. And, so thank you, everyone, for watching Tea Time. Take care, and I'll see you next week. Ciao, everybody.